Good morning. It is Monday morning, meaning it's time for some Motivational Monday. My name is Christopher Donnell, pastor here at Urbana UMC. So glad that you're joining in with us today. Hopefully start your week off with some motivation and some encouragement to pull us through and get us to our next Monday. So I was reading in 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 through 14, about suffering for Christ. And Peter writes this to Christians, this chapter, to Christians in different provinces in Asia who are going through it, but they're also being faithful. And so maybe you had a rough week. I kind of had a rough week last week, and so I was encouraged to read this morning. But maybe you've had a rough year or a rough season. And so I think this is just important to remember as we go through life. So here is 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 through 14. Dear friends, don't be surprised at the fiery trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you. Instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with Christ in his suffering, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing his glory when it is revealed to all the world. If you are insulted because you bear the name of Christ, you will be blessed, for the glorious Spirit of God rests upon you. I love how Peter says, don't be surprised. I think a lot of times we get taken off guard by troubles or trials in our life or seasons, and we go, oh my gosh, why did that happen? Or how did that happen? And I can't believe that happened. Well, Peter is actually saying here, and these Christians were really being, going through it, and being persecuted and going through some trials. But he said, don't be surprised. So I think that's the key word, whether we're being persecuted as Christians or we had a bad day. I think the idea here is don't be surprised that things are not always going to go our way. Now, I know that's not very encouraging or motivating today on this Monday. But what is motivating, it says, instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with Christ. So there's your motivation. When we go through trials and when we have tough days or tough seasons, we actually are beginning to partner with Christ in his suffering. It's a little taste of what Christ did for us. Again, nobody likes pain. But I think we all can rally behind the idea of that Jesus and acting and looking like Jesus is the ultimate goal. And so every time we experience some of those shortcomings or those setbacks or those trials, we're actually experiencing those trials and those sufferings with Christ. And it molds us and makes us to depend on him and to lean on him. Because it's really easy to forget our need for Jesus when everything is going right. It is much more difficult when the world is coming at us, and we have to turn to him and rely on him. So one last encouragement. So it says, if you're insulted because you bear the name of Christ, you will be blessed, for the glorious Spirit of God rests upon you. So whether you had a bad week, bad day, bad month, bad season, following Jesus and pointing your heart towards him, it says his Spirit rests upon us. So even in that trial, even in that challenge, his Spirit is with us, resting on us. And that is enough, friends, to get through and move forward. And not just through, but sometimes even victorious through those situations. So hopefully that encourages you. Don't be surprised when things don't go our way. Don't be taken off guard, because it will come. There's so many scriptures that point to bad things happening to the good and the bad. So it's like, I'm living right, I'm doing good, everything's going well, and all of a sudden, the wheels fall off on your car and you're like, what happened? Well, bad things happen all the time, and it happens to good people and people who are not living right, whatever. The point is, don't be surprised. Keep our eyes on Jesus. His Spirit rests upon us, and when we do that, we partner with him. So I hope you have a great week. Look for those opportunities to partner with Christ, and don't be surprised.